Hello, everyone. I'd like to do a review of our first reading knowledge quiz. I'm going to give you all the sources for the answers. And let me emphasize that the sources are in the reading. That is, the expectation of these reading exams is that you do the reading, so you read it very carefully, that you study it. It's the reading for a class. You should spend a lot of time with it, get to know it, so that when you have a reading knowledge quiz, um, you can scan over the text. And not that you have every one of the answers at your command, but it should ring a bell, if you know what I mean. That is your familiarity with it. And if you don't know what it is, the answer, you should be able to find it from context. So the answers should be based upon your personal reading of the text. I got a lot of vague, kind of googly answers that weren't, I don't think, based upon a reading of the text, but Googling the general issue in the Analects. So these are the sources that I based the questions on. 2.4, the master said, at 15, I set my mind upon learning. At 30, I took my place in society. At 40, I became free of doubts. At 50, I understood heaven's mandate. At 60, my ear was attuned. And at 70, I could follow my heart's desires without overstepping the bounds of propriety, which was the question. What could the master do? At 70, well, he could follow his heart's desires without overstepping the bounds of propriety. That's the answer, right? Or something like it. Confucius said of the G family, they have 8 rows of dancers performing in their courtyard. If they can condone this, what are they not capable of? It's a fantastic thing. What the question was, what's wrong with the G family? And an answer is they have 8 rows of dancers performing in their courtyard. You don't even have to give me an interpretation. That's what's wrong with them. And the implication of obviously being that there's something I don't know. And 8 rows of dance, a lot of dancers in your courtyard, all sorts of implications about what the significance of that is. But that's the answer. What's wrong with them? They have 8 rows of dancers and they're performing in their courtyard. Man. 4.7, the master said, people are true to type with regard to what sort of mistakes they make. Observe closely the sort of mistakes a person makes, and then you will know his character. The question was something like, how do you know? How can you find out someone's character? Or how can you know someone's character? And the answer is from the sort of mistakes they make, which is really extremely interesting. I mean, maybe that's how we know ourselves too, right? What we all make different sorts of mistakes. What an interesting idea. 4.16, the master said, the gentleman understands rightness, whereas the petty person understands profit. And I think the question was, what is the mark of a gentleman? There it is, that he understands rightness, as opposed to the petty person who understands profit. 5.10, 5.10, difficult one, Zaiwo. Zaiwo was sleeping during the daytime. The master said, rotten wood cannot be carved, and a wall of dung cannot be plastered. As for Zaiwo, what would be the use of reprimanding him? The master added, at first, when evaluating people, I would listen to their words, and then simply trust that the corresponding conduct would follow. Now, when I evaluate people, I listen to their words, but then closely observe their conduct. It is my experience with Zaiwo, that has brought about this change. So the question was, how is Zaiwo like a wall of dung? That's not so easy. I guess, because he was sleeping during the daytime is a perfectly good answer, right? I mean, who knows what Confucius is actually getting at here? I mean, he seems to be getting at the idea that there's no improving this guy. There's nothing you can do. What would be the use of reprimanding him? This is just the way he is. He's the kind of guy who just sleeps all day, and trying to reprimand him or better him or correct him would be like plastering a wall of dung. It's just there's no use. But just saying, and how was he like it? I guess because he was just taking a day off and sleeping. A perfectly good answer. 7.20, 7.20. The master said, I am not someone who was born with knowledge. I simply love antiquity and diligently look there for knowledge. And the question was, where does the master look for knowledge? And the answer is in antiquity. Antiquity is what we're reading when we read the Analects, or when we read Plato, or Homer's Iliad, or um, Thomas Aquinas, or the Aeneid, or look, the wisdom of olden times, antiquity, the ancient world. You know, that's where he looks for knowledge, antiquity, the knowledge of the ancients. And I think finally, 9.18, the master said, I have yet to meet a man who loves virtue as much as he loves female beauty. So if the question is, how many men has he met who love virtue as much as they love female beauty? The answer is none.